Merry Christmas, intrepid viewer.
Hello, I'm Julie Gardner, executive producer of Doctor Who.
I'm David Tennant, and I'm the Doctor.
Hooray. So, David, what's the date today? Where are we?
What is the date today? We've got 2 days of filming left before we stop for Christmas. I think we're on December the 13th now, which is a full 12 days before this will transmit in the UK.
How exciting. And we've only just finished it.
Yeah.
So how many times have you seen this?
This is the third time I've seen this. I saw it for the first time last Sunday night. We had a cast and crew screening and a Christmas party, the Doctor Who Christmas party, where everyone on the team saw this for the first time.
Including you?
Including me, yes.
Was that strange?
It was quite strange. It's always a bit nerve-wracking to see anything that you're in for the first time, I find. And I'm not very good at being objective about it till much later on. And although it was nice to watch it with everyone on the team, that makes it all the more nerve-wracking, of course. It's like showing your homework, isn't it?
Yeah, completely.
How did you find it? You must have seen it, because you were in the final mix, of course.
Well, on the day of the cast and crew, I saw it for the third time that day, because we'd done two final mix reviews. And obviously we'd seen it hundreds of times before in the fine cut. So there we have. We've just missed Donna entering your TARDIS.
And interesting, that sequence was the closing seconds of Doomsday, which was the end of Series 2.
Yep.
But not those actual pictures. We reshot it. We have two directors of photography on Doctor Who, Ernie and Rory. And Ernie shot Doomsday in the way that he likes to shoot the TARDIS and likes to light the TARDIS, which is lots of greens and lots of reds. Rory prefers it to be a more kind of golden affair.
Yeah, a bit more yellowy.
Yeah. And so that it would fit, so that the version of that scene would fit with the scene we're now in, we had to reshoot it, do a kind of Rory version of the scene.
And did you make different choices as an actor the second time?
No, in fact, we had the DVD player by the side of the the set to try and recreate it as exactly as we possibly could, so that you wouldn't necessarily notice that it was a different. Although I've just told you. So
I don't think you really do notice. I think it really
don't think
works.
you need to be
eagle-eyed.
You need to be studying Doomsday seconds before to realise that it's different at all.
So did you know Catherine before you started working with her?
Never met Catherine. Met her for the first time when we filmed the very end of Doomsday, but she was only there for about 35 minutes that night. Smuggled into Cardiff under a blanket.
So smuggled into Cardiff under a blanket. How secret was that?
Yeah, checking into hotels under false names, and nobody in the crew, bar about 5 people, allowed to know that she was there at all. It was
very exciting that time.
Yeah.
And also really mad, because for Louise Page, our costume designer, she had to make a choice about that wedding dress very early on, and we knew Donna was going to be wearing it throughout the Christmas special.
Yeah, but we didn't at that point know what the Christmas special would contain.
No.
I think it was rightly guessed that she'd be running around a lot.
Yes.
This is Doctor Who, after all.
Yes. And Russell did have the Runaway Bride in his head at that point.
The clue is in the title here, I suppose, isn't it? But yeah, no, Catherine came along for that tiny little bit, and then I didn't see her again until we started filming on this. She couldn't even make the read-through. She's in about 14 different films at the moment, so she literally squeezed this in.
She's amazing. She's got like half an hour off in 2006.
Yeah.
But what a delight. She was so brilliant, and I think loved it.
She was fantastic. Great to have her. And she's quite shy in many ways.
Yes.
I hope she won't mind me saying that, but she's quite an unassuming person and very humble and
extraordinarily talented.
Very, very talented.
Amazing.
And just lovely to be with, and funny and very, very talented, I think, as well.
And how much rehearsal did you do before this?
Approximately none whatsoever.
Very good.
Yeah. We started on day one. Catherine, again, because she was so busy, couldn't even make the read-through.
Yeah.
Her part at the read-through was read in by Sophia Miles.
Indeed.
Played Renette last year. Doing us a favour.
But it was instantly, why I asked about the rehearsal was it was instantly very assured, the two of you together. You know, the pace of it, the wit of it, the level of comedy, it was very clear from the very first day of rushes that we saw with both of you.
Well, I don't think that's something you can really legislate for. You just have to hope that'll happen, I suppose, don't you? But then you just work off the script, don't you? And I think the dialogue was written very cleverly and specifically, and you kind of got who the characters were and how they related to each other very plainly, I think.
Yeah.
Bit of a cut there. There used to be a bit when I grabbed the top, I went right down to the doors, opened the doors again, threw the top out into space.
Yes.
And why did we cut that then?
We didn't quite believe it, not in the performance, but just it felt like such a big thing to do to Rose's top, and it just felt a bit melodramatic.
Because actually,
this felt tighter.
He'll be probably trying the top only, so in a slightly strange kind of.
Well, quite right.
Morning
I suspect also
ceremony.
we were cutting in an FX shot. So I suspect, depending on who you talk to, there's lots of reasons for that. But I think it really tightened that scene, and you get the point. You get the sad moment. You're missing Rose.
It is all it's very breakneck, isn't it? I mean, already, I don't know how far we are into
We're about
this.
6 minutes in.
We're about 6 minutes in, and already we're bang into the story, aren't we? There's no hanging about at all.
The real pace to it.
Yeah.
Now, I never get bored of the scene. I just love seeing characters discovering the TARDIS for the first time.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? It's kind of, I suppose it's the same scene with every new person who does it, but
it's magical.
Yeah, you kind of need it as well.
Yeah. I mean, she's wonderful. I love this camera move in on her. There we go. Perfect.
Eros Lynn, wonderful director.
Absolutely wonderful director.
Does a lot. He uses that a lot in this. The camera's zooming and swooping in and out.
It's terrific. And so we were filming this in July. Obviously, it's Christmas.
Yes.
So quite hot, quite sunny, quite green.
Quite verdant.
Yes. A strange Christmas. Global warming.
Well, I mean, I think you get away with it here because it's just against kind of concrete and stuff. And there are moments later on when autumn doesn't seem to have happened to this particular corner of London.
Exactly. Now, I love this moment in the script. So she's talking, I mean, it's so deft, the script. So she's talking about pockets, which is going to pay off in such a big way later on.
Yeah.
And it seems so comic and just throw away. So massive score from Murray Gold kicking in here with the Orchestra of Wales, the National Orchestra of Wales, BBC Orchestra.
There's a lot more actual orchestra on this than ever before, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. We went a bit mad on this episode.
Yeah.
We just wanted a big, full sound. So, yes.
This was, obviously there's some supporting artists there wrapped up to look like it's Christmas. But
whereas they were fainting with the heat.
They were fainting with the heat. This was the height of summer.
And we're on St Mary's Street, central Cardiff, and it's a department store that was established in the very first episode of the series, Series 1.
Yeah.
Rose's department store, Henrik's.
Rose used to work there.
Yeah.
This whole sequence was filmed, as we've said, the absolute height of summer. And it was the craziest we've yet known, I think, on Doctor Who, in terms of the kind of public attention that we were getting.
So how many people were watching you film this?
This bit was later in the day. It slightly calmed down, although the other side of the road from where we're filming now was absolutely jammed with people.
And what's that like? Is that scary? Is it okay? Are you used to it? How does that feel?
Well, it's a little bit odd. It's because you do feel obviously like you're... but this sequence now was where there were literally hundreds of people kind of at either end of this street being kept back and asked to help us accommodate the filming. And I have to say, to the most part, people were really very good, very helpful, very enthusiastic, and not at all
people are very lovely about it.
Yeah, but people just wanted to have a look, I suppose.
Yeah.
And the Series 2 had literally finished transmitting, I think, the day before, 2 days before we shot this.
Yeah.
So there was the show was, I guess, in people's minds.
Yeah.
And it was the first day of the summer holidays. It was a beautiful day. Cardiff was rammed with families. And a lot of them wanted to stand and watch.
Yeah.
You can't blame them for that, I suppose. But it was at a level we hadn't really experienced yet. In terms
and how much of a break had you had from finishing filming Series 2 and then starting this?
I'd had 3 months.
And what did it feel like coming back?
It, like coming back to school. I don't mean... No, that's not true, because I never enjoyed going back to school, and this was like coming back home, really, because most of the crew are the same. And obviously the character's the same. And it was kind of like getting back on a bike, really.
Yeah.
The big difference was that Billy wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
She'd been there, obviously, every day, practically, last year, and suddenly... she was gone,
But her
that was very different.
Her Santas were still there.
Her Santas are still there, although they've got new faces this
New
year.
faces, yeah. We did a bit of a redesign on the faces. Russell was never quite sure about that. They used to have like a cross-section, a vertical and horizontal line. And
they're a bit jollier now, aren't
they? It's always good to have a killer Santa.
Yeah.
And we're about to go into this massive sequence, which was one of the first things that Russell talked about with the mill, which was he had just had an idea in his head for a motorway chase, a really long TARDIS down the motorway. And I remember in one of our tone meetings, it was so complicated that Eros Lynn whipped out of his bag 4 cars, literally toy cars. So we had on the desk in the tone meeting the little taxi car, the normal car, and he proceeded to talk us through shot by shot, while moving the cars along the desk, about where the TARDIS was going to be, when the car was going to... And it's true to say, we didn't really understand very much. And the rushes, but he had a real clear idea about it. And then the rushes came in with endless footage of cars, and you were like, well, he's confident it's going to work, let's just see it.
Yeah.
Amazing work from Eros on this.
A logistical nightmare, too. I mean, that shot you just saw of the 2 cars almost crashing was done, I think, on the Chiswick flyover?
Yes.
The road wasn't closed off. I'm probably admitting we did something slightly illegal.
Probably.
But
it looks great.
But it looks great, and I dare you to take us to court. Just 2 stunt drivers, just kind of timing themselves through the London traffic.
Now, there's a lot of tree here, can I just point out, but graded down beautifully by the mill, so slightly browner than it actually was on the day.
Right.
You're not entirely convinced, but,
Well, it's slightly greener than it should be, but I think
we get away with
hopefully you
it.
won't really notice.
Completely.
That was the Ring Road round Cardiff that we filmed that one.
Yeah.
We were allowed to close it for, I think, 2 lots of 4 hours.
Now, look at this.
Yeah.
How amazing. There's no finer thing than the arrival of the TARDIS with the big music cue.
Yeah.
And Catherine Tate. Now, how mad was it for you doing the interior TARDIS stuff? Because I remember seeing those rushes, and they were fantastic. But how did we do that?
Well, most of my stuff was not filmed on the motorway. I was there briefly. There's a couple of over-shoulder shots.
So here you're in our studio on the interior TARDIS set.
With green screen wrapped around either side of it. Catherine's obviously on the ring road. That's me in the studio. That's green screen. And we had brought a taxi into the green screen studio.
Yeah.
We now in
in
our new studios in Treforest, we have a whole room dedicated to green screen.
And do we use it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we drove that cab in, had the TARDIS on a green plinth next to it, and we did this scene. I don't know how many different elements there are to this, but
so much.
Yeah. There's green screen. There's real motorway. There's
a wind machine on you.
Wind machine all the time. Yeah.
Got to get as much movement as possible to make it really convincing. How extraordinary. The mill just did the most amazing work for us year after year. And they love it, and their ambition just grows. How exciting. I
remember it took a long time for us to work out the physics of that, the sort of, once the TARDIS hit the ground, would you fly up or down, or... I don't know if we got it right or not, hopefully.
It looks great. You got it right. You got it completely right. And I'm loving these big
that shot there, I'm on a... Just as you see over my shoulder onto the taxi, I'm on a trailer, strapped onto a bit of scaffold pole, and being driven around the real road. That shot there too.
Yeah.
That, of course, is green screen, and it all.
It's a joy watching you on the rushes. And when we send our cuts to Jane Trenter, it's a huge feat of imagination because she's obviously seeing things with bits of green curtain flying around.
Yeah.
Oh, and this great big juicy close-up about Rose.
Rose, of course, is still very much a presence in this episode.
Absolutely.
She has just the Doctor and her have parted company seconds before. And I think it makes the Doctor...
Well, you're a single man.
Yeah, I'm a single man. You're absolutely right. And I think it makes the Doctor a slightly moodier chap than we've seen the 10th Doctor be before. And of course, as I said earlier, when we filmed this, Doomsday had literally just transmitted. In fact, I think Doomsday and Army of Ghosts transmitted while we were filming this.
Yeah.
So the whole Rose story was very much in all of our minds as we were doing this. Certainly in my mind through the acting of it.
How great is this rooftop?
Yeah.
2 days in London we did this time.
This was the first day of shooting on Series 3.
It was. I was gobsmacking getting these rushes.
This was when I first met Catherine.
It was brilliant.
First properly worked with Catherine, and we were all back to school.
And the whole safety issues of getting that TARDIS on that roof, the discussion about, well, you know, it's going to be windy, we've got to strap it down.
Right.
There was a moment where we did in a town meeting start discussing whether we could see the TARDIS on the roof, which we really needed.
Of course you do.
Absolutely needed. But, yeah, it's not easy getting that thing up there and keeping it strapped down.
Now, on this day, of course, Catherine's very presence in Doctor Who was still top secret.
That's right. And there were all those people in the offices.
Yeah, well, all these offices you can see around were all overlooking, and you could see heads bobbing out, and I thought, we're never... Catherine, being in Doctor Who, was the only secret we've ever managed to successfully keep.
It's a brilliant secret.
Yeah. As everything else leaks out.
Yeah, but that was just absolutely... But there were lots of internet discussion, wasn't there, about what they could see, and some people thought Billy was back in it,
yes.
and there was a lot of kind of
because there were people on the ground taking long lens shots of this and trying to figure out who Catherine was, and somehow we got away with it. There were some paps started gathering at the bottom of the building, and we sent Tracy Simpson, our production manager, out of the building with a jacket over her head to try and draw some fire.
Did that work?
No. But somehow we got away with it. I don't know how Catherine didn't get spotted this day, but somehow we got away with it.
That's so brilliant, because it was such a surprise seeing her. A really fantastic writer, after the last episode of Season 2 transmitted, described their child watching it and was how sad they were that Rose had gone, and then, but Daddy, it's all right, the Doctor's got a new princess. Because that's how they were, just seeing her in a wedding dress, it was like a new princess.
Yeah.
How lovely. It was brilliant to keep that secret.
They didn't realise how gobby she was going to be, did they?
No.
I don't think Donna is the Doctor's normal choice of travelling companion.
No.
Which, of course, is the genius of doing this, as a kind of buffer between Rose and Martha.
Yeah, completely.
You get something completely different, a completely different relationship.
And it feels very kind of Spencer, Tracy, Catherine Hepburn. Do I mean that? Yes.
Yeah, well, I hope that's very, very good to do. Yeah.
That spikiness and the banter, the wit of it, the pace of the dialogue.
All of this scene on the rooftop had to be... The dialogue for the scene on the rooftop had to be re-recorded later.
And
because
that ADR is amazing.
Because there were fans or something. Now, I don't think you'd necessarily know that watching
You really
it back.
wouldn't on that scene. It's extraordinary.
Paul McFadden and his team who do this thing do an immaculate job. And blend it in.
Absolutely extraordinary. Tim, Paul and Doug.
Yeah,
amazing.
They are great. And it's still... I still think, slightly for me, I just feel the performance slightly draining when you have to re-record
but you're a loony actor, and you're going to think that it's flawless. Both of you, it's absolutely extraordinary. I don't think anyone would know.
I've just told them.
Yeah,
I've just pointed that out as well.
It's
not going very well, this, is it?
No. We give away all the secrets.
Yeah, well.
And Don Gillette had a great time on the show, I hope.
I think he did. Yeah, I think he had a laugh.
Yeah.
It was a good bunch of people. It was so different because, of course, having done all the episodes last year with not only with Billy but with Sean Dingwall and Camille Kaduri and Noel Clarke, and suddenly it was just me with all these new people. But we did have a good time.
Oh, bless.
And that's an extra line, isn't it?
Yes.
We had a great big reception all
Because
planned.
we made a cut. Because
Yeah.
there was a scene with you getting off a bus. Because you got a lift on a bus to the
With
wedding.
the mighty
reception.
Bella Emberg.
I know.
Making a bit of a cameo reappearance
Oh, we loved Bella
as the
Emberg.
woman she played in episode 10
It was
last year.
very hard to cut that scene because Bella was
Yeah.
on it. But we just wanted to get in there.
Let's
you really
hope that
want to
scene
go
will wind
straight.
up on a DVD someday.
I'm sure it's going to have a life beyond it.
And let's hope that passerby that Bella plays so brilliantly makes a further appearance later.
Yes, 3 times lucky.
Yeah, let's hope.
I love Catherine here. This is just perfect. And your reaction to her. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of us getting there, wasn't there?
Yes. And also there was
Us arriving outside the building
Yeah.
and Catherine having a wee
Yeah.
cry about it and
Yeah.
all that was cut.
And there was a lot of you getting out of there later to HC Clemens. Remember you were in a smart car,
Yeah.
which got cut.
Which also...
Well, actually, it got reshot and then cut
Yeah.
because we
We'll
hated
come to
it.
that
we
bit in a minute,
oh.
I guess. But that also featured the appearance of my mother and father, my sister-in-law and my 2 nieces,
Who were marvellous.
who were marvellous. They were visiting the set and got strong-armed into being supporting artists.
And then got cut.
Extra supporting artists. We did not infringe, as a union man, I'd like to point
Quite
out
right.
that we did not infringe on our supporting artists'
Quite
budget
right.
by using them. They were purely
got dragged in.
additional to requirements. But they were hiding in the back of shot, and that's got cut too. But we haven't got there yet. Neil Hannon from the Divine
Neil
Comedy.
Hannon.
Singing his heart out.
Love Don't Roam. So now, big discussion about what comes up here with the flashback to Rose. Should we have it? Should we have it not?
Oh, really?
Yeah, really big
It
discussion.
was always in any script I read.
Yeah, it was always in the script, but we did have a big chat in the Fine Cut about whether we wanted the flashback of it and whether it was too sad, whether it was taking us too far back. And
Well,
in
it's
the end,
interesting.
it's just so emotional. It's so beautiful.
I think that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, that idea that when we were filming it, Rose's story was so present for us all.
Yeah.
And now, sort of 6 months on, you wonder, from a story point of view, is it better to just kind of get going again? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact is, it would be very...
But the balance now feels right to me on this Fine Cut. And
I don't want to...
without giving it away, that last line of the episode feels absolutely right.
No, I mean, I think it's true and correct and
Yeah.
proper that the Doctor, who was literally picked up seconds after we left him, saying goodbye to the love of his life, it would be rather callous if that wasn't recognised.
Well, it's got to be dramatically truthful.
Yeah,
Even if
yeah.
you are a 900-year-old Time Lord, it's truthful.
Oh, yeah. Listen, 900 years gives you a lot longer
Exactly.
to get lonely.
So naturally, it would be rude not to bring the Santas back.
Sure.
I love the dancing in the scene. It's such real kind of wedding dancing.
It's all a bit rubbish,
You know, it's all a
isn't
bit
it?
kind of
Everyone's
silly.
a little
and
bit
yeah.
rubbish at it.
It's perfect for that.
I think this coming sequence is probably where you notice its height of summer most.
Yeah, this
isn't
is
it,
a bit
really?
green.
This was the hottest day of the year, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah.
And we were in a beautiful hotel on a hillside in Cardiff, the name of which completely escapes me.
That's fine.
For the exteriors, all these exteriors
Yeah.
now. A beautiful location, very, very green. And as you can see, also very, very sunny.
And then a different interior location for when we trash the joint.
Well, it's about to start exploding, isn't it? Yeah.
And Christmas trees.
Yeah.
They kill.
Harking back to last year's Christmas special, of course, when the Christmas tree turned into a kind of rotating razor blade affair.
Are you a razor blade man or a little bauble bomb man?
Do I have to express a preference?
No.
I think they both have their strengths.
Oh,
Yeah.
very diplomatic.
I think this is lovely, the way that it all seems for a moment rather
Magical.
sweet and rather magical. Yeah.
That
yeah.
turning point's great. And how great are these extras looking into the sky and absolutely nothing? They did so well. Now, obviously, we had to include, once we realised we'd have a wedding cake in this sequence, we had to include the stunt of one guy going into the wedding cake. Russell specifically added this moment in.
If I remember, performed by Dave Foreman, our stunt coordinator himself.
Oh, really?
I think that's right. I have memories of him wandering around with a face covered in cake, so...
Now, David, you're looking remarkably chipper, considering you've been filming for how many weeks?
I don't know how many weeks have we been filming.
Well, since
20?
July, and we're into mid-December. I can't do the maths, but yes.
Yeah.
Months and months and months.
Well, you know, it's no great hardship. It's great fun.
You're very cool in that moment.
I was very pleased that they'd left the microphone lying around to be able to add in that.
That's really cool. Okay, so we have the Santas.
Our Santa's played by a lot of the same guys who've played the Cybermen and the Ood, and we've got a little rep company now.
Thank God for the rep company.
Thank goodness for them. Of remarkably tolerant, uncomplaining...
And agile
guys.
Who don't need to go to the toilet often. You know, can really hold on and don't need to eat. And
can lose half their body fluid in the morning.
Yeah, and still keep
be
going.
Standing upright. Yeah. They're a remarkably robust bunch. Led by Paul Casey, our chief monster man.
Though I did have to do one talk for Worldwide, where there was I shared the stage with a Cyberman, and I talked for about 20 minutes, and literally I thought the Cyberman was going to be carried out.
Right.
It was a bit long for them to stand still on the stage while I whittled on.
Yeah.
It got a bit overheated. I love this moment. I was talking to Russell about this moment over the weekend, which is we just cannot ask enough. Who is the Doctor? Who is this man? The myth of that. It's so dark.
Well,
and
it's also you've got a
powerful.
whole bunch of people who don't know him again. I mean, you've got to start again with all that.
That kind of who is it? There's a danger and a magic and a strangeness. So here we go.
This was one of those moments where it's like, look up into the sky, but the sun was so bright that we could barely open our eyes.
So we're starting with the Arachnos.
And here is TV's Sarah Parish.
Who was so uncomplaining while in a harness and 25 layers of prosthetics and 3 hours in the makeup chair and unbelievable.
She really suffered for her art here. But she has, I've known Sarah for several years now, and since I started doing this job, she has been insistent that she be cast as an alien.
And did it live up to expectations for her?
Well, the thing is, when she finally did get cast as an alien and found out that she was going to be basically physically tortured for 3 days, she really couldn't complain. No, but to be fair,
she really didn't complain. She was an absolute trooper.
Extraordinary.
So we've just cut the smart
car. That
car.
long sequence with my mum and dad.
I'm sorry.
And the smart car. We all got into. There was a bit after I said, "Lance, can you give me a lift?" There was then a conversation about how Lance couldn't because he'd been drinking, so we had to go in Donna's car, which was a pink smart car. And there was then a sort of comedy sequence of us driving down the street.
And then I didn't like the pinkness of the smart car, so we did reshoot it.
Do you know, you did reshoot it, but I think you did it with doubles, because I didn't do the reshoot.
Okay.
I think it was done in a wide shot.
And have you broken the news to your parents that they're not going to make it on Christmas?
Yes, they do know they're not going to be on Christmas Day.
Are they
the two that I'm a bit more worried about are Maisie and Hannah, my nieces.
How old?
8 and 5.
Oh, gosh. Who's going to tell them?
Well...
You're going to make me phone them up?
I think you should. As executive producer of Doctor Who, I think really it's your responsibility. Who cut it? Who decided to cut it?
It was a collective decision. We all stand the brunt of the blame.
Well, you can collectively phone.
Russell, Phil and I were there.
Children's tears. They've told all their friends at school.
Oh, no.
I don't know. They need to be bought off with Cybermen heads and remote control canines.
Oh, dear. Right, so now you're going into the basement.
Yeah.
And where did we film the basement? We filmed the basement in
Millennium
the Millennium Stadium, which is such a favoured place for our locations.
This is a building in Cardiff Bay?
Yes. And then in
I want to say the Archaeos building. That's not the name of it.
Something like that.
That's a circus troupe.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
But thank God for the Millennium Stadium.
Yeah.
Those corridors, that concrete, the space, the height. It's amazing.
And you'll see in a second, we sprayed it down so it looked sort of wet and slimy. And managed to flood all the offices.
Well, Rory just did, and they were uncomplaining. kind
Did
of.
they not complain about the offices?
You know, they were
Have we had to
very
recarpet
supportive of
them?
us. Well, you know. But Rory, our DOP, did the most amazing job in this basement. It's so bold.
Yeah.
This green, and then he goes to a blue that he uses.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, that's sopping wet. All that light bouncing off them.
That's
It's flooding the
beautiful.
offices on the left that you can just see in those little alcoves. There's
Now,
people
how
in there
much-
planning rugby matches.
How much
Up to their
fun?
neck in water.
How much fun did you have on these?
These were great fun.
How long did it take you to learn to?
Do you know, they're
that?
very, very simple. They're
Are
called
they?
segways, and they work off gyroscopes. And you sort of stand off, and you
Yeah.
make them go by leaning forward or leaning back. And
And
they
how fast can they
go.
get up
I
to?
think there's 2 keys.
Right.
And we weren't allowed
No.
these fast keys
No.
because of insurance or some boring reason like that.
Quite right, I approve.
Except one day at the Upper Boat Studios when I managed to talk the man into giving me the fast key and I went for a quick spin around the complex. Don't look at me like that. It was fine. I didn't tell anyone till after.
I don't think that's really the point.
No, I don't. But he was very keen that we should all buy
Yeah.
them. The man who was the man.
Well,
who came
we
with
had
the
we had a
segways.
conversation where you were a bit overexcited on one day.
They are great. The trouble is, what would you use them for?
Yeah, that was the
Unless you're in a
conversation about how
large
would you go to
country
the shops.
estate.
And you don't.
And I don't. I don't. Why don't I have a large
I
country
don't know.
estate? What's gone wrong?
It's because you're Scottish and, you know,
Yeah.
don't believe.
They would be very good for zipping around one of them, but I can't really see myself, you know, going down Holloway Road on one. I can't really see me leaving it outside any shop in Holloway Road and coming back to find it
No.
still there, to be honest
No.
with you.
So here we go.
And here we are on the Thames Flood Barrier. Needless to say, I'm not on the Thames Flood Barrier. I'm on a green podium again.
Yes, you just spend a lot of time on a
I
podium.
do spend a long time perching on green bits of cardboard or plywood.
Has
we
this
just did one day in London, I think.
has
actual
this
filming for
has
this
this season felt different to the first one for
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, well, because I'm not the new boy this time.
Yeah.
Freema's the new girl.
But has it felt different in other ways? Has it felt more physical, more have there been any changes or
It's
not?
been well, I don't know. We've done more night shoots.
Yeah, sorry.
It's been more ambitious probably this year
Mm.
than last year. I think there's a tradition now on Doctor Who that every
Year
year has
after
to be
year.
bigger than the last. We've done a lot of through the nights, a lot of weird hours, and
Yeah.
we've gone to some fairly extraordinary locations, including the Globe
We really
Theatre
have. The location's been amazing.
We're currently at St Fagans Museum of Welsh Life, which is an incredible location. But you won't see that till episode 8 and 9. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
You're getting so ahead of yourself.
It's only Christmas.
Stop with the secrets.
Stop with the secrets. I think the Huon particles look a bit like the teleporters in the old Star Trek.
Do you think?
Yeah, you know the way it kind of jingle jangles out.
You see, I never really watched Star Trek.
Well, I didn't much,
It was
to be
all
honest,
a bit
but I saw
cold
enough
and
of it.
detached and boysy,
They're all
and I
jocks,
didn't really
aren't they?
understand what was going on. I didn't like their costumes very much, their little uniforms.
They're all jocks in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I always preferred the
Yeah,
ones with the sort of geek boys.
bit more, yeah,
Don't know what that
exactly.
says about me.
Well, you are geek chic.
Well, I'm certainly geek. We're about to come to one of the weirder sequences we've ever filmed.
Yeah. Talk us through that.
Well, the long sequence that's about to happen in the Rachnos, in the chamber that the Rachnos has moved into, and the chamber that we're in here, were two completely separate locations. In front of Catherine and I now is a wall. That was just a green screen again. Behind this wall, we're digitally inserting a completely different location, which was down in the docks in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And this long scene where Sarah hadn't even started work with us yet. We were playing the scene with an actress reading her part in,
Yes.
and we were literally facing a sheet of green material.
And you did it beautifully.
Well, it was curious. It's a very long
It was,
sequence.
yeah.
Played with the two of us looking at green and listening to these lines being read in by somebody else. Being read in very well, I have to say. But
And we kept doing long runs of it.
long runs of it. Eros
Really,
loves
yeah.
a long take.
Yeah.
Eros, like, if Eros can possibly run 3 scenes together and do it all in one shot, he always will.
Yeah. I like that about him.
I do too. I think it's harder work, of course, but I think you probably get better performances from it.
Beautiful star.
That is fantastic. Yeah.
How's it feeling to be watching it the third time?
I'm enjoying myself.
Good.
Here she comes.
Yay.
Hey! Now, we've not released... Am I right in saying we've not released any
Yep.
photographs of this?
No,
So
we're going to
when
release...
people see this on Christmas Day, that'll be the first time they've seen
No,
it.
because we're going to release on the 19th.
Oh, are we?
So we're doing our screening on the 18th, and we release this on the 19th to get kids really excited about
Right,
Monster.
right.
So it's the big reveal.
Right.
Now, extraordinary work from the design department and Neil Gorton's prosthetics team, Millennium Effects. Absolutely amazing. In one of the early tone meetings, there was a whole discussion about, OK, would we do the CGI, which I think everyone assumed we would, or would we build a prosthetic? And it was Russell and the big discussion around the table to just try something different, to give a different feel to that monster, to kind of literally, obviously put it in the room,
Yeah.
go for that scale. And it does feel different.
It does. Yeah, no, it's absolutely...
Feels something new for our Doctor Who.
It was absolutely... All of it was absolutely in the room. There was about 4 people working Sarah's lower half and kind of wheeking her up and down on a seesaw, effectively.
Yeah.
She was kneeling into the big
Into the cradle,
prosthetic,
yeah.
and kind of leaning forward like she was on the front of an old sailing ship, really. She was in quite a lot of pain from quite
Yes.
early on. Fairly dosed up on fairly high-grade painkillers to get through the day. But she did her entire performance, I think, in 3 or 4 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a very intensive time for her. She roared herself hoarse as well.
She was
But
amazing.
she just went for it on every single
Absolutely
take.
amazing.
Chewing the scenery up. She's fantastic. I've never seen her do anything like this before
No.
either. And I think she was very liberated by the...
I'm sure it really was. Now
ability to do it.
this moment, when I first read it on the script, extraordinary.
Yeah.
Just devastating. This speech. I mean, this is what I really love about Russell's writing. So you've got a character who seems quite, on the sidelines of the whole story. And then suddenly he's got this huge, dark, strange, difficult, awful scene. I mean, the cruelty of this scene is astonishing. It's so hard.
I suppose it's juxtaposing the fact that, the universe is under threat from a big, scary creature from the dawn of time. With
Yeah.
the fact that a woman's just been jilted at the altar.
Yeah.
It's putting the two together that...
But that he thinks she's such an
See,
idiot.
they wouldn't do that on Star Trek.
No, they wouldn't.
I'm not slagging off Star Trek. It's a terribly good show. It's just very different.
Yeah.
Although the teleport effect is similar to the Huon particles.
Gosh,
maybe
everyone's
they
a
are.
critic.
Maybe they are. That's not a criticism. It's an observation.
Oh.
Maybe Huon particles are used on the Starship Enterprise to take people up and down to various planets. What do you think to that theory, Julie Gardner?
I think there's a PhD in it.
I think there probably is.
Now, we should mention Russell at this point, because this is a great, glorious speech, and Russell should be in a chair. There should be 3 of us here right
Yes.
now. And I should say that he's not here, and this is very exciting, because he's writing episode 12 of Series 3.
Yeah. Is it overdue yet?
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, it's not, but it's very exciting, and that's where he is, under lock and key typing.
Well, I've just read episode 11, and that made me pass out. Very exciting. Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are
again.
so getting
Calm
ahead of
down.
ourselves.
It's
You're such a
Christmas.
tease.
For goodness sake. You're the one that started talking about episode 12.
Well,
Um,
so, where were we?
oh, you can see my contact lenses there if you look very closely. The Doctor now
Oh, I
wears
missed
contact
that.
lenses.
You're very eagle-eyed.
Well, we are watching
your
this on a
contact
very
lenses.
big screen.
I'm loving the big screen.
Yeah, this is a new development down in the basement of BBC
Wales. They've never treated us this well before.
I know. We've got bits of fried chicken in front of us. It's because it's Christmas. When we do the podcast for the series, it'll just be crisps and
Yeah, we'll be in that broom cupboard
Crisps
across
and
the
some
hall.
Just Juice.
Yeah.
But it's very nice. for a little while.
Now that's a brilliant moment because look, she's changed as a character. She's selfless and cares about you, and
they bonded as well, sort of seamlessly without you noticing. Yeah. The only thing, of course, that is CGI is the blinking eyeballs around the top of Sarah's head. Yeah.
Which we also did a CGI on the Slitheen.
Ah.
Because we had a Slitheen, a prosthetic Slitheen, and it's always the eyes. You just want an extra little thing to make it really credible.
Yeah. All this stuff was the last stuff we shot. All the stuff in this big the flood chamber, as it was called. And so obviously these scenes in the TARDIS had been done weeks before, and that scene where we appeared in the TARDIS from the flood chamber had done week before, so that we had to work backwards and match what we did in the flood chamber to what we'd previously done in the TARDIS.
Oh, Donna. She's so brave and heartbroken, and you know. So now what I love about where you're going in your TARDIS is it's Christmas Day, or transmission Christmas Day, and we're going back to the creation of the world.
Sure.
How perfect.
Was the world created on Christmas Day?
No, but creation and birth and all of that.
Nice.
Actually, I mean, when was the world created?
Might have been Christmas Day. I like what Russell did with that, getting the Doctor to kind of tease her out of her gloomy moment.
Yes.
I suspect partly because the Doctor fears going to anywhere slightly gloomy at the moment, because he knows he's got a fairly shaky grip on
he's
on
alone
keeping going
again,
himself
the last
right
of his
now.
kind.
Yeah.
Oh, hooray.
Beautifully.
How beautiful.
Realised. Again, of course, we're staring at a green screen, but you...
Now, please notice, Donna doesn't have her veil on. She very deliberately took her veil off in the car, in the taxi, on the motorway. And that was partly, we had to write it in, because the veil was going to be terribly problematic in front of green screen. Because you've got, like, meshing material that would interfere with the green screen.
Right.
So the veil was ditched. I mean, the veil would have been ditched, because I think she would have started to look a bit strange, but technical reason as well.
Nice. I didn't know that. How many wedding dresses did she have?
I don't know the answer. I'm going to say 3.
I know there were several, because they were made into various states of disrepair. Because Catherine would often scurry off for a change and come back looking exactly the same, as to my eye, but of course they were slightly more broken down.
No, I don't
dresses.
know how many there were. But I mean, Louise did so beautifully and brilliantly to get that wedding dress under all the secrecy of we've cast Catherine Tate and we've got to get the right dress for that one scene at the end of the series, and she's going to wear it for 60 minutes on Christmas Day.
Sure. And the Christmas episode is allowed longer to shoot than a standard episode, isn't it? I mean, it's 15 minutes longer anyway, but even still, we give it a bit more time.
Tiny bit more time, yes. Do you feel different when you're doing Christmas? Does it all feel more weighted?
Well, this felt very different because it was very much a standalone. It was with Catherine. It wasn't with any of the story. It stands alone in story terms. I think it's fair to say in story terms there's a gap between this and episode 1 of series 3. Whereas this follows continuously on from the end of Doomsday. So, it did feel very different because it was a different lineup, I suppose.
It was
because it's a different central relationship, which is so much what Russell scripts and Doctor Who scripts are about, that central relationship. The central relationship, as we will see with Martha, is very different to the central relationship with Rose, which is very, very different to this relationship between the Doctor and Donna, and that defines the stories, I think, in each
case. It felt
case.
great that we scheduled the Christmas special so that we shot it separately to anything else, because in the previous year, as you will remember, we shot Christmas and 2 other episodes.
Yeah.
And actually that put us under huge pressure doing post.
Right, yeah.
Post-production, because, the director wasn't available for ages to suddenly get... And actually, it was so much cleaner and better doing it like this.
Yes, this was done and dusted, and then we started on the
Yeah.
series, didn't we?
Yeah.
So Freema, who plays Martha, hadn't arrived at this stage. She was still on holiday, I think.
Yeah, she was. Imagine that, a time of holiday.
I believe there are such things. Having said that, I first read this script on the beach in Sardinia.
Did you?
I got a holiday. Briefly. Very nice it was too.
Good.
Now, you'll see the stethoscope there, which
Yes.
we sort of discovered almost by accident in an earlier TARDIS scene. And I thought it would be quite nice to use again. So we've got it here, and
It's great, though.
we might even see it in the
fun.
series.
I suspect,
Well, we
David, we
might.
will.
We might.
See, look at that blue again. Beautiful.
Yeah. It is, of course, the same corridor, but the colour
Yes.
change makes it
Yeah.
look like a different one.
Yeah.
Very clever.
Oh,
And again, with all these different elements.
Yeah.
There's the
massive matte painting.
yeah. All those robot guards were added
Yeah.
in later.
Yeah.
The realest thing there is probably Sarah,
Sarah.
In her big prosthetic outfit.
Completely.
Contact lenses and teeth and those the mandibles that she's holding in each hand gave her a lot of jip as well.
Did they?
But she didn't complain. She was
She was
fairly
extraordinary.
magnificent.
She hasn't seen this yet.
She hasn't.
No.
No, she's seeing it on Monday. We have a press launch
Yeah.
on Monday where we show this episode to the good ladies of Her Majesty's Press.
Mm.
Good ladies and gentlemen, probably. I don't know where that came from. The ladies and gentlemen of Her Majesty's
okay.
Press. And Sarah and Catherine are coming.
They are. That'll be such a laugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it'll be a laugh. It's also quite nerve-wracking those days, aren't they?
really nerve-wracking.
When you
Particularly for you, when you have to do all your interviews.
Yeah.
I get to have a relatively nice time.
right.
I mean, it's still quite stressful because you're just so desperate to know what people think and
Yeah.
desperately hoping they love it.
Yeah.
So it is a bit tense.
Well, we love it, don't we? I mean, we love
We love
making
it
it, I
so
suppose, so
much.
much that it does feel like you're kind of
It's your baby going out
Yeah,
there. You want
yeah.
people to just be kind to it.
we're revealing too much. We're showing vulnerability.
Are we?
Yeah.
Stop. Stop.
We don't care.
Nah,
We don't care if you hate
at all.
it. It's
Nah,
fine.
we
It's
love
fine.
it. Okay, so there he
He's
goes.
off.
Lance is gone. Okay.
And this, another sequence filmed in St Mary's Street in Cardiff, now through the night, of course.
And I think Russell being slightly subversive here, that the Christmas star starts killing people.
I hadn't thought of
Yeah,
that.
it's a bit of a Christmas rebellion on the Christmas star.
Oh, dear. The Catholic Herald will be on to you.
Actually, I should point out no one gets killed, but you know they dodge the lasers beautifully.
Sure. The little girl, though, who's now standing on her own,
Yes.
screaming,
Yeah.
as the Goldfinger type
Yeah.
laser is about to
Yeah.
shear her in half. Her parents were standing with her a minute ago. Where did they go? How irresponsible is that?
It's panic and chaos, and there's an
They
alien
were
threat
leave
over
the little
London.
girl.
It's chaos. There
Well,
is a lot of
obviously.
running around,
I
and
just
it
think-
looks, and also
I
it
just
looks
think
like a very good shot.
They might need to be, social services might need to be alerted. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so
Now
here you
that
go.
was a lot harder than it looks. Slipping out of that thing in one fell swoop.
Was it?
That took a fair amount of cutting and reimagining from the costume department.
Brilliant. Now,
Little-
big moment coming up for the Doctor here.
Yeah.
Big moment. What? Talk us through this. Choices made.
Oh dear.
How dark did he go? Did you go as the Doctor?
Well, I think it was important that that the Doctor was caught by Donna here. I think it was important that the Doctor saw that he could lose control, that in this kind of post-Rose
Yeah.
state, he's perhaps not as balanced and in control as he would wish to normally be. And so the carnage that he's about to create... Basically, I suppose what's important story-wise is that the Doctor realises he shouldn't be on his own.
Yeah.
Even though all his instincts at the moment are telling him to be.
And it's an extension of No Second Chances, isn't it? It's a darker, no second... you need that ruthlessness, that
Absolutely.
clarity.
Absolutely. Which comes out of a fairly dark place. And I think Rose had helped him come out of that dark place. And perhaps he's rediscovering it a little bit here.
And we've just had the pocket moment.
Healthy. We've just had the pocket moment, yeah.
I love that.
Which is...
that payoff to what was a gag. Or seemed just a gag. Beautifully set up.
And of course, proves very handy.
So now, water, we had a model shoot. I mean, it's all kicking off here. Model shoot, prosthetics, CGI. You've got your prac effects with your flame. It's all going.
Yeah.
And a pickup. We did a pickup on
yes, the final
which
shot
was so
of this episode
important.
is
Thank
a big old
God
close-up,
we did
isn't it?
this. That close-up is worth every second it took to schedule it to get it.
This water was very cold.
You were very brave.
Thanks.
I thank you.
Thanks very much, yeah.
A lot of work on that music cue, those drums to make it feel dark and really signify you've gone too far. It's a dark, terrible moment. You feel real sympathy for the Ragnos.
I think you really do, which is...
My children, she's screaming for her children.
To Sarah, of course, but also
Absolutely. Great performance there. Look,
that's the pickup
there's
shot,
our pickup.
That was done really quite recently, that shot.
What did you say when you opened your mouth there?
I don't think I'm saying anything. I'm just having a moment.
You just did that?
I'm just...
It's a great moment.
It's just, what have I done, really? Not that I'm saying that, but that's the moment.
It's a great moment. You really do sympathise with the alien.
You do. And you might think that this is her escaping to reappear in a future episode,
but we had permission to drive
a tank
down St Mary's.
So that was the end of the Ragnos.
I mean, you just had to if you're going to get a tank.
Wasn't there a bit of a scandal? Wasn't there a bit of a scandal about this with it?
Oh, it was all just nonsense.
Message from Mr. Who?
Mr. Saxon.
Oh. Yeah, there was some woman complained because she got woken up by the tank. Wasn't there something about that?
Oh, something.
Something like that.
Well, I mean, a tank, middle of the night, a tank in St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And thank you. We apologise for that, but I hope you appreciate it now.
Yeah.
We're very grateful.
You're watching the woman who complained.
Yeah. Thank you for letting the tank go down.
Yeah. You lost one night's sleep, but we got a tank in Doctor Who, so...
We're very grateful. Oh, how marvellous. And you need that tug sound.
Yeah, where is the tug?
You so need the tug sound.
Moored in the mud somewhere.
Yeah, it's behind the Thames flood barrier.
Right.
Now, this scene I love with all my heart. I love everything about it. I think the performances are extraordinary. The CGI with the snow, the music, and then the last line.
I think it's a big credit to
everything,
to Russell and to
an amazing scene.
And to Eros that
absolutely
in this episode the big action sequences are incredibly well executed and beautifully done.
But you've got the space
but these
for this.
Scenes are given as much.
You've got so much space and care,
and
the close-ups are beautifully shot. And Donna's learned so much. I mean, the Doctor's changed her life.
But she's also been important to his.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
In a moment where he could have really kind of gone off the deep end, she's just pulled him back.
Got to have snow.
Yeah. Gonna have snow, but I think important that it doesn't just snow in a sort of pat
No, we've
Christmas
had the
special
ashes,
kind of a
and
way.
now we've got the...
Yeah. There's got to be some scientific explanation behind it.
Well, you just love all your jargon, don't you? You just trip it out.
Of course.
She's beautiful there.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So moving.
But of course, the doctor's about to get turned down, which
I know.
she's not used to.
No.
He's rather coy, he doesn't quite know how to ask the question. But,
I love this line about what you can do. I'm going to walk in the dust. It just feels like that's so central to Doctor Who, about how you live your life and the adventure you have. And
yeah.
oh, poor Doctor.
Actually, I don't think he's been turned down before. Usually he's fighting them off. Which has got to be a bit of a shock for him in his present state.
But it's important she turns him down, because
course.
you've got to know that being a companion is dangerous and not for everyone, and there's a price to be paid for it.
Well, it also makes Rose and Martha more, and Sarah Jane and all the others, it makes them, it shows that they're extraordinary people. Like,
and the music Hugh playing over here, Doomsday.
Of course, so it is.
A string to Doomsday. Oh.
Do you think Catherine would have stayed if we'd asked her?
You're just such a tease. She's got 25 million genius projects.
She does, actually, yeah. She's a little bit busy, but, you know. Maybe we can revisit Donna someday.
Oh, I love Donna.
Yeah.
Donna walking in the dust.
I love that he
Tries to go.
escapes. It's so unlike him. It's
Such
so,
a man.
Yeah. Not that moving on is unlike him, but that slightly cowardly kind of, I can't quite face it, but it's very important for where he's at right now.
It's also the coldness of that, you know, after 900 years, he can do that. She's brilliant. And David, we're building now to one of the finest performances I've ever seen of this last line.
Oh, no, stop.
I know, I don't care. Stop.
Don't overplay
Stop.
it.
I know, I don't care.
It's only going to disappoint now.
No. Well, I hope everyone that's watching this has already watched the episode.
They have.
Here we go.
What if anyone ever does watch these with the commentary for the first time?
That would be perverse.
If you're doing that at home right now, you're
Stop.
weird.
Stop.
Watch it properly.
Don't do it again.
Yeah. Oh, we've never seen that before.
No.
The TARDIS taking off like a rocket.
So thank you, the Doctor Who cast and crew, for that. Russell for sitting at home writing and not being here. Phil Collinson, who's sadly not
here.
with us abroad. Oh, and our
And
trailer.
here's Martha Jones.
Our trailer, Martha Jones. Hello, Freema. Hooray.
Freema
Hooray.
Agyeman, who I think is still on set right now.
She
actually.
is.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's episode 1. That's episode 4 and 5. There's 3. That's a bit more 3. There's 4 and 5. There's Miranda Raisin. There's there. And there's the Judoon. And the Globe.
The Globe.
Dean Lennox Kelly, who gives a fantastic performance as Shakespeare. The Face of Bo's back. And there's Ardla Hanlon, who was also tortured by our prosthetics team. Christina Cole hovering in midair. Miranda again. Bit of death and destruction. Oh, I love a trailer.
I love a trailer. Pigs.
Pigmen.
Mark Gatiss, transformed.
Mark Gatiss. And Mark Gatiss again. doing all my own stunts. There you go.
Hooray.
So you've got that to look forward to next year.
Look at all these glorious people. Thank you. What fun.
Fantastic. Well, that's Christmas.
That is Christmas.
That was the Doctor Who's second ever Christmas special.
I love a Christmas special.
Yeah. I do too. It's hard to beat, isn't it?
So have you done your Christmas shopping?
I have now done some.
Oh. You're
Yeah,
just showing
online,
off.
you see.
Oh.
So if it doesn't arrive, I'm stuffed.
That's very organised.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. We have to stop now.
We do. Thank
Julie
you
Gardner,
very
thank you
much.
very much.
David Tennant, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.